Alright, today we're going to be talking about how to properly veg your ghillie suit and matching the background behind you where you're going to be. Vegetation selection of where you're going, where you're starting, where you're going to be. If your climate, your vegetation changes between your starting point, your destination in the middle, and then actually your final firing point, you might have to stop and veg along the way, shed some, gain some, add some, subtract some, and make sure you're matching that background behind you. You're not contrasting with your background, where if you're in an area such as here with a lot of light tans, you don't want to have bright greens in an area in a sea of tan. Don't want a sea of tan or wear a bunch of lights and tans in a sea of green. Avoid blacks. Blacks only appear in nature with the shadow, and if there's a shadow there naturally, it'll be black. You don't have to add that. We're talking about some places on your suit where to veg. The main thing you look for, what gives that human away, number one, it gives away someone in a stock is movement, incorrect movements, moving too fast, that catches your eye. But what's going to give you the outline is the human silhouette outline. So when you veg, you want to veg more on your head and shoulders area. Start there and work your way down. You typically won't even have to actually veg your pants very much. If your pants are giving you away, you're too close, or you did some other way bigger mistake than not vegging your pants. Also, you want to start, if you're in a grassy area, you want to start with a base of grass and then add branches and other vegetation to that. You don't want to start with branches then add veg to that. Grass is always going to be first, and there's always going to be stuff growing on top of grass. Grass does not grow on top of trees. Trees grow on top of grass. Start and stop points. So start and stop points, what that'll be is where one color mixes and hits the other one. So where the tans meet the greens, when the greens meet the tans. If you're going to set up in that area, it's okay to do it, and actually works pretty good because when you scan with your eye. But if you have that offset a little bit, where the green blends into the tan, where the tan blends into the green at the wrong angle, it's going to give you away real big. So you want to try to avoid start and stop areas of color if you can. All right, so when you start vegging your suit, I like to start top down. Your head and your shoulders are going to be most exposed, and it's also the area that gives away that human silhouette the most, that head and shoulders area. You're going to have to expose your head and your sight and your optic to see and shoot at the target anyway. So that part is going to have to be exposed sometime during the stalk to observers, whoever you're going against. So you make sure that area is vegged the most. Also, when it comes to vegging, you want to do a little bit, a lot, not a lot, a little bit. What I mean by that is you want little handfuls all over, not one big clump here, not one big clump here. Yeah, you can also, I use 550 cord whenever I tie it in. That makes it easier to work with. Make sure you burn your ends of it so it doesn't unravel, but do not burn the ends while it's on your suit. Jute is extremely flammable. I have hair ties as well. Those work good, but they don't work for very long, and they'll actually they'll dry rot out pretty quick. 550 cord doesn't dry rot, and it'll be on your suit forever, and it doesn't snag or anything. Hair ties are a loop, so they typically tend to snag a little more. One thing you want to avoid too, grass grows up and down. So you don't want a big clump of grass or vegetation going the opposite direction in which way it goes. And if you look, it's kind of fluffed out. So whenever you get these little bundles in there, kind of want to just spread them out a little bit and make sure you have them overlapping with each other to give you the most coverage. It's better if they're not all perfectly even as well. Grass doesn't grow all perfectly even. If you look out where we are, it's all different lengths. So make sure you have it such as this, multiple different lengths. Your head and your shoulders are going to be the most exposed part. It's going to be the part that's always scanning for your objective area. It's going to be the part that you look over terrain with, that you're looking around with. It's probably the part that's moving the most. If you ever look at an animal in nature, like if you're hunting a deer, if you notice its body will stand still, it'll go down, eat, come up, look left, look right. Your head's always moving. If you ever watch people, their heads are always moving. So make sure you do not skimp out on your head and shoulders on this veg. You can get away with not doing some other areas. Head and shoulders down there you can get away with. Go overboard with it. Whenever you lay your suit down and you walk off to grab some more veg, you should come back and you should confuse yourself, and you shouldn't be able to see it. That's how you know you have enough veg on your suit. One thing not to do is use the wrong colors in areas that they do not belong. Another big thing, anything shiny. Nothing in nature typically shines. If it does, it catches your eye almost instantly. So avoid shine. So one thing the instructor is looking for in the stalk lane is if you're moving incorrect movement. So if you have a big open area and you move across it, you're gonna get popped real quick. You have no background, no veg block, and you're moving away from the vehicle. If you are side to side movement, you want to move. If you're moving towards something, you want to move directly at it. It adds the least amount of movement to catch the eye. Yeah, one thing instructors look for in the schoolhouse is laziness. If you're already dealing through a couple of practice stalks and you're getting proficient in them, and then you start taking that easy road, not vegging up, not reducing shine, and not doing proper camouflage on your gear. That's a big one to get turned off to real quick. All right, so now that the veil's done being vegged, you want to make, when you look over it, you want to try and hide and cover as much jute as possible, little dead spots and where jute's not going to actually hide you. So if you can cover that with the grass, it's the best way to know if you're done vegging. Then you're going to walk out somewhere like this. A good way to know if it's vegged properly, you'll sow in the grass, turn around. When you turn back around, it should be kind of hard to find. All right, now we're going to start knocking out this the hood. Make sure you focus mostly again on that head and shoulders area. So one thing you want to remember when you're doing your jacket or your top is you don't want to do a different theme than your veil you just did, because they're going to be next to each other, and if you have that start stop of colors, that's going to attract attention. One thing that may give you away on a suit like this is jute that's not weathered and jute that's too long. Let me grab some more grass. So if you tie it down here, the weight of it will droop over. So if you tie it up higher like this, it'll keep it upright. Or you can have 2 attachment points to hold it upright. So one thing I like to do whenever I start a stalk, I'll just add a base layer of grass. And then whenever I get to where I'm going, I'll actually add vegetation of the place I'm going, instead of adding a bunch of stuff where I don't know what it's going to look like where I'm going at. One misconception that is in the movies, is not in real life, is that a bare ghillie suit by itself will hide you. A ghillie suit by itself with just jute is just that, a big ball of jute that sticks out. All right, next step is paint your face. Make sure it blends with the area you're going and cover all the areas: neck, ears, nose, get it all in there, lips, eyelids, everything like that. All right, time to suit up.